This is your WMDX Daily News Roundup for Mad Radio 92.7 FM and 1580 AM in Madison.
For 92.7 WMDX News, I'm Savannah Tomei Olson. Some SNAP benefits will come to Wisconsinites, but it seems they'll get less than they're used to, much later than they're used to. In previous government shutdowns under different administrations, the government has used emergency funding to keep SNAP afloat. But this time, the USDA chose to discontinue benefits. 42 million Americans rely on SNAP to put food on the table. Here in Wisconsin, nearly 700,000 people rely on food share. Governor Tony Evers declared a state of emergency, and Wisconsin joined one of two lawsuits against the Trump administration. In both those cases, judges have ordered that the government must keep SNAP going. Now, the Trump administration says they will use more than $4.5 billion in emergency funding, and that's still only funding about half of what the program usually gets. And people are expecting payments on November 1st. In court filings, USDA officials say it'll take weeks to months to process that emergency money, leaving those almost 700,000 people here in Wisconsin still in limbo. Food pantries have been working for weeks to stock up, knowing they'll be the only option for some folks. Ash Rundquist is the kitchen manager at the community table in Eau Claire.
A lot of folks rely on us for their one meal a day. I've got folks that come in here and we serve a lunch, but they haven't eaten breakfast. They won't eat dinner. The next time they eat is the next time they come in here.
Pantries all over Wisconsin were already seeing higher demand before the government shutdown. Staff at the River Food Pantry here in Madison say they've had a 14% increase in people served since the start of this year. Every year, the Goodman Community Center gives out Thanksgiving baskets to families in need. Those families have to register ahead of time. Last year, it took over a day for all the baskets to be claimed. This year, just 5 hours. It's now state law. Starting next year, Wisconsin schools must ban cell phones during class time. Shali Pittman reports.
Governor Evers has signed into law a bill aimed at banning phone use in schools. Under the new law signed last Friday, public school boards have until next July to adopt a policy banning cell phones in class. It's a popular issue across the partisan divide. A Marquette Law School poll in June showed overwhelming support for curbing phones in schools. 89% of voters said they shouldn't be used during class. 72% of voters supported banning cell phones throughout the school day. That matches a national survey from the Pew Research Center also in June, which found that 74% of adults nationwide favored banning phones in middle and high school classrooms. Research from the Wisconsin Policy Forum shows that most schools already restrict cell phones in some way. Wisconsin has 421 public school districts. Of the 309 who responded to a state survey, about 70% of districts only allow cell phones in common areas. About 20% fully ban phones. Just about 10% have no rules on phones. The law comes as new research shows banning phones in schools could help mental health. According to the AP, at least 35 other states have adopted measures restricting the use of phones in schools, and that's just in the last 2 years. For Civic Media News, I'm Shali Pittman.
Also in the last few days, the governor has vetoed 9 bills. One of them would have required state workers return to the office. The governor had said for months he would veto that bill. Another would have required schools to let people inspect learning materials within 14 days of filing a request, and a few dealt with changes to unemployment insurance. I'm Savannah Tomei Olson, 92.7 WMDX News.
A Bucks win at the buzzer. Hi, I'm Mike Clemens with sports. NBA, a Bucks victory thanks to a jump shot at the buzzer by Giannis Antetokounmpo. 117-115 over the Pacers. Doc Rivers says, though, Giannis is getting fouled every night and not getting the calls.
I just think the way he gets officiated is not right. It's brutal, and hell, we can call a foul every time. Well, if you do, they'll stop fouling him. So, anyway, we won.
The Bucks road trip continues tonight in Toronto against the Raptors. College hoops, number 24th ranked Wisconsin over Campbell University, 96-64. Marquette beat Albany, 80-53. NFL. A report says Packers defensive back Nate Hobbs will now miss time with a sprained knee, and tight end Tucker Kraft out for the season with a torn ACL.
I mean, he's a hell of a player, hell of a teammate, hell of a guy. I'm bummed for him. I'm bummed for us. But now other guys are going to get an opportunity.
That's Packers head coach Matt LaFleur with Sports on Mike Clemens.
Mostly sunny. It's going to be a really nice day today with a high right around 62 this afternoon. Tonight, partly cloudy. We're going to drop into the low to mid 40s for an overnight low. Tomorrow, sunny, breezy, and a bit cooler with a high of 56. I'm meteorologist Sean Cable.
That's your WMDX Daily News Roundup from Civic Media. Subscribe to this podcast on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your podcasts. Find more news at mad.radio.